Hello everyone, welcome back to the shed. As you can tell by the title, we're jumping on the bandwagon of Hornby's latest release, the W1 Original Condition. I'll have to apologise right now, I have a bit of a sniffle and a bit of a cough, so you're going to hear that throughout the video unfortunately. Anyway, let's press on with this. Let's have some idle chatter while we get this out of the box. This just arrived from Kerno, factory fresh, got this said. Anyway. Let's divert away from the subject for just a moment. How is everyone? It's been a while since I've done one of these videos, bogged down with work and all that. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful. I was in York this time last week. Bit ridiculous I know, but it was for a training course so I can't complain. I had to go. It was only 2 days. It was fun I guess. Got me away from the house, got me out and about, as much as I do want to just stay in the house at this time of year and have something alcoholic. Right, so we've got a little detail pack. We've got couplers, we've got some brake piping by the looks of it, some brake rigging for the tender, flanged wheels for I think under the cab. Excuse me. So let's get her out, take the silly bit of plastic that we're going to have to keep off, take her out of the packaging and realise I have nowhere to put her. I think that'll do for the moment. Well, I'd say that's easy enough for the packaging, standard packaging I suppose. Nothing to scream and shout about. I do know people have had issues with the loco and the packaging, not to mention. Reports of cracked packaging. Looks like it's been shot with a BB gun or something like that. That's according to Andy anyway. I haven't really watched too many videos on the W1 being reviewed. I know Class 47 Peter's just got his video out. I know some other people have taken a brief look at it or given it a run. I will say this detail pack is so chunky, full of stuff, it's hard to sort of get it in. There we go. Next thing, instructions. Anything silly that they've decided to do with this in terms of DCC, or is the socket in the tender? By the looks of it with wiring, the socket's in the tender. Yep, socket's in the tender. Lovely stuff. Good to see Hornby are still sticking to the guns on that one. Right, so let's get this on the track. And we'll have a close-up inspection of her, so you can have a look at some of the closer details. Well, it's fairly obvious from the get-go. It's painted grey. Almost everything on this loco is grey, in the battleship grey, not the, what is it, the Silver Jubilee grey. Silver. It's called the Silver Jubilee for God's sake. Anyway, looking at the detail, plenty of it. These steps out here, very interesting. They sort of protrude a bit from the body. They're well ways out there. Excuse me. Nice big driving wheels. Wheels under the cab. They look well done. Detailing in the cab is there. I can't really see it right now. I'll let you know closer up. Ah, now there's a bit. I wonder if that's correct. No, yes it is, don't worry. Just had a mild panic. You can see that sort of little handrail on the furthest side. I thought there was meant to be one this side, but there's no room for it this side. Don't worry, that's a feature. Those little hooks there as well. Printing's well done, gotta say. Excuse me. Corridor tender as well, that's something to note. This tender, by the way, has now ended up behind 60009 Union of South Africa. That's an interesting tidbit. Also, if you want history on this loco, I'll leave a link to the Wikipedia article down below, because obviously some people do know plenty about this loco. others may not. Of course, that weird front end, looking almost like a fat P2 with that front end. And that's interesting, some lamps included on there from the factory. I must reiterate, if I haven't already said so, this isn't COVID, so you're not going to get it by proxy just by watching this video. Right then, I'll have a look on the other side, make sure there's no detail that is missing, and then I'll get her on the rolling road so you can see what the driver action is like and all the valve gearing. So, here we are at the other side. Of course, she's propped up on the rolling road now. I'm happy to report there's no defects. I know people have had plenty of issues with handrails or cracking or the smoke deflectors. Happy to say there's no issues like that on mine, considering it came all the way from bloody Kerno in Camborne. Anyway, of course she's on the rolling road, so let's give her some juice. She's not running yet, so I wouldn't expect her to sound tremendous. Let's give a zoom in on that running gear. So that's the interesting part right now. Hopefully you can see that. Let me slow it down a little. Autofocus as usual, throwing a wobbly. Looks plenty smooth to me, that's for sure. What about slow running? Let's try and get it nice and slow. Yeah, and then a bit of a lurch maybe. Of course she's not running, so I'd say that probably smooth out. Let's give her some speed. Now if I zoom out, you'll be able to see, of course this is on a rolling road, so of course it's wiggling. I doubt it's going to do that when it's on the track. Okay, let's turn the juice off. Right then, the next thing we really need to look at is how much overhang we get from those flangeless wheels underneath the cab. Because I know that might be a small concern for people who are nitpickers. So let's have a look at that. So I've popped her out on the main track so we can have a proper look at what she's like around the tightest curve that we have on the main loop of track, which I believe is something like 24 inches. What I'll do, I'll give a zoom in on where the cab is. You can definitely see the rear wheel not moving. And that is the tightest curve, well, on the main line bit that we have. Well, I can't say I'm terribly shocked about that, but to be honest, I'm not one of those nitpickers, really. The next best thing I can do is throw switch 2 directly in front of the loco, excuse me, and see how it looks over a point. So let's stop her there and zoom in. Bit of juice. Looks fairly okay over in Express Point. Let's put her in reverse. Again, the wheel's not making much contact with the rail, but I can't say I expected as much. Now, next thing I will check, of course, is the outer loop. So let's do that, and then we'll check the clearances on the platform because of those steps. So, she's now on the outer loop. Let's give her some juice. Gotta say, she's a plenty smooth model, I'll give it that. Hornby really have turned over a new page, that's for sure. Let's zoom in. Let's see, you can still see it floating away. There's only one person in the world I know that will be angry with that, and that's Andy. He won't be too pleased, but let's be honest, I'm not the one giving two shits about it. To be honest, you're going to be running this thing at speed anyway, so I wouldn't give two tosses. Those wheels behind the underneath the cab are as useless as a chocolate teapot nowadays. And of course Hornby are doing the flanges thing because people need to run it on their layouts, and they may not have the nice luxurious long curves that we have on this layout, as make-believe as it is. So I'm in prime position right now to roll this forwards, move the camera along, and we'll now watch point number 6, which is, that is number 6, isn't it? Yeah. Would be nice to know where point number 6 is. It's not that one, is it? No. What one is it? That one. That one. The one that doesn't have a number. Brilliant. So I'll have to watch this from the far side, make sure it doesn't clout the platform. Helps if you also unisolate the road you're running onto. Oh, I did just hear. Yep, okay, so the bottommost parts, and I have to point this out, the bottommost step on the other side did scrape the platform while it was going around this curve. So, first thing to note on that one is don't run it into that platform. Right, what I'll do, I'll move this maroon rake out of the way and we'll check it on that platform as well. Okay, so let's run number 10,000 into the platform. Whoa, yeah. There's definitely some scrapage there. Now, I must note these are Bachmann's Scenecraft platforms. These are the GCR platforms. Man, that is a real shame. But let's be honest, all I have to do now is not run it into the bloody platform. So that's nice to know. So let's get this loco hooked up to the maroon rake and see her running around the layout. Unfortunately, I don't have my teaks on the layout, but I'm sure the maroon coaches will look the part. And we'll be able to see the thing in action, how it will look on your layout. So there we are, Hornby's Hush Hush. Hornby have certainly gotten back in their stride, that's for sure. And it's very weird having something like this in ready to run form. But I'm not going to say no if something like this ever comes up again. Of course, I am quite a guy for the prototypes. It's a shame that people have had issues with getting these brand new, cracks here, missing bits there. A real shame, really, but I'm glad that mine is certainly not a case for that. As I said earlier, this bottom footstep here, it clashes with the platform edges, so do be careful when running on your layout if you have a platform. Just check your gauging, I suppose, make sure that's fine. Otherwise, yeah, she runs fine. Gotta say, she looks equally as pleasant in the natural light. The all over Battleship Grey is a bit drab, but I suppose that's probably the point. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. And I'll do my best to answer it if you have any questions about the model, or maybe what I'll do next. Don't know. Who knows what may come through my come through the postman to my house next. So I hope you've all enjoyed, and until next time, goodbye.